Hello everybody, today we are going to be finishing off our Unit 4, yes we're on Unit 4, with window treatments and lighting. As soon as you are done listening to this lesson, shoot on over and take the windows and window treatments and lighting quiz. After you have done that, we will be moving on to Unit 5 next week. So this week all you have to do is watch your window treatments and lighting lesson and take the quiz and you should be good to go. So let's get started. Okay, so let's go into the different types of window treatments. Basically, a window treatment is anything used to cover a window. That's a window treatment. So I want you to think to yourself for a second all the different ways that you want to or can cover a window in a space, and then we're going to go through all those. So think about it for a sec. All the different types. Okay. So we're going to go through the most obvious ones first, and then we'll kind of go into ones maybe you haven't heard of before, or you just haven't known the names to them, but you've seen them before. So first is our most common one, and they said these are curtains. Curtains are everyone knows what curtains are, but the definition is a piece of material suspended at the top to form a covering or screen, typically one of a pair at a window, sheared or gathered onto a rod. Okay, so here's a picture of your curtains. Okay, and then we have draperies. Now these are different from curtains basically in the sense that they are thicker and they are heavier fabric and they have a little bit more formal look to them. They also can block out light and heat and keep things cool or warm. So they have temperature capabilities to them as well. But these are cloth coverings hanging in loose folds, and they are pleated panels hung on a rod, and like I said, they are formal or heavier fabric. So basically the difference between the two is curtains are usually a lighter fabric, thin or sheer, and they are not lined and they will not block out light. They should not be used for privacy because you can see through them, and they can be very colorful and add a decorative touch. Drapes, however, are made of heavy fabric and they typically are lined. They are used for blocking out the light, cold, and heat, as well as for privacy, and they can hang from the top of a window to the floor for a more formal look. So basically the main difference is one is thinner, one is thicker, one is lined, one is not lined, and one blocks out light where one is more just for decorative. So you just gotta look at your window and decide what you want it for. Obviously, if you are going to have a bedroom, you're probably gonna want a little bit thicker fabric because otherwise in the summertime when that sun rises at 6 a.m., it's gonna come blaring through your window if you don't have some type of window covering that blocks out the light. So that's the main difference. Then we have shades. I actually really like shades. I think they're really pretty, and I like the look of them, but it's a single piece of material that is hung at the top of a window, and it can be pulled down to cover the window, usually with one of those circular chains that you spin and it comes down. But that's your shades. They look like that. Okay, then we have blinds, another very common thing that you probably see very often. You probably have them. These are a series of evenly spaced slats that may be opened or closed by cords, okay? You can get very cheap blinds, you can get very expensive blinds. It depends on the kind of quality you want and how much money you want to spend. Wood blinds are obviously going to be more expensive than plastic blinds, but I can tell you right now that when I moved into my apartment a year ago, or close to a year ago, let's see, I had to cover 4 windows, and it cost me $685. So blinds can be very expensive, so just keep that in mind when you decide to put blinds on your windows. It can be a costly venture. I apologize for my barking dogs. They are very annoying, but we're just going to push on through. Okay, then we have shutters. I absolutely love shutters. I love the look of them, but they are even more expensive than blinds. These are very, very expensive, but they are gorgeous. So you just gotta like I said, it depends on what you want your space to look like and where you want to spend your money. But these are vertical sections of wood hinged together, much like a folding door. And the sections have crosswise slats called louvers, which vary in width. Basically, it's blinds with a stick in the middle, and you use that stick to open and close your shutters. And they are gorgeous. I wish I had them. I love them so much. Okay, then we have cornices. I'm not a huge fan of cornices, just personally. I mean, I like the wood ones better. I don't really like the fabric covered ones. That's just my personal design preference choice. Doesn't mean that you can't like them, but I just haven't really I don't really see the purpose of them, honestly. I feel like they're kind of useless, but whatever. So they are straight or shaped wood, and they are top treatments, and they may or may not be upholstered. So I included a picture of upholstered cornices and unupholstered cornices so you can see the difference of what they look like. You may have seen them, you may have them. Okay, then we have balances. Now, I really don't like balances, mainly because I think they are 100% pointless. A lot of the times, if people are going to have balances that actually have a purpose to them, they usually are part of a set of curtains, and so you have like the valance on top, and then you have curtains underneath, which I guess makes more sense. But I just don't like them. They're short, and I don't think they look very proportionate, but that's just my personal opinion. They are a length of fabric placed across the top of a window. They do look better when they have curtains underneath them, but when they're just by themselves, I just don't understand the point. Like, you're missing most of your curtains. Where'd they go? Did you just cut them off with some scissors? Did you cut a little too far? Like, where are your curtains? That's just kind of how I personally feel about them, but that's just me. Okay, then we have swags. This one is my favorite just because of the name. I'm kidding. I really don't like these either. They are very, very formal. So if you have a very, very formal taste, you may be drawn to these. I have a much more simplistic style, and I like more simplistic traditional type design pieces. So I don't really like swags that much, but like I said, that's just me. This is fabric draped gracefully across the top of a window, attached to both sides of the window at the top. So they're very drapey. So there's your swags. Okay, and then I want you guys to think for a second, what should you consider when deciding on window treatments? Think about the different things that you need to think about when you just picture yourself, you've barely moved into your own place, but your windows have no treatments. You need to now cover your windows, so start thinking about some different decisions that you would make or different questions you need to ask yourself before you actually cover those windows. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to think about maybe some questions you'd ask yourself. Okay, let's check it out. All right. What is the direction of the window? If you have a north-facing window, you're going to want it for insulation and little light control. If you have east-facing window, you want light control in the AM, and south, a lot of light control. West, hot piercing light in the PM. So always think about your direction of your window because it's going to affect the temperature of your space. Light control. Consider use of a room. Is it going to be a theater, a bedroom, a living room, a kitchen? Do you want a lot of light? Do you not want a lot of light? Think about those things. The shape of the window. Is it tall, narrow, arched, wide, or short? The bigger the window, the more expensive the window treatment's going to be. The purpose of the window. Is it for a view? Is it for ventilation? Is it for light? If the purpose of your window is to let in light, you probably don't want to take that light away. Just a thought. The style of the room. What is the theme, the decor, the formality? That's definitely going to decide on what it is you're going to place your things. If you have a big window in front of your kitchen, you're probably not going to put swags in there because it doesn't really make sense for the space. Cost. There's a wide range of prices depending on what you are willing and wanting to spend. Maintenance, cleaning and care. Blinds obviously need to be dusted. Curtains need to be probably washed and dusted. Just depending on how much you want to take care of your window treatments is what you should probably get. Energy efficiency. You want to get things that definitely have temperature control in them because it's going to cost your utilities could be affected based on temperature. So do you want to keep the heat? Do you want to keep the cold in or out depending on what you want? Privacy and security. Okay, and then we're not doing Smashbooks, so we're just going to move on through to light. Okay, so there are two different types of light, natural light and artificial light. Obviously, it's pretty self-explanatory. Natural light is going to be light provided by the sun, moon, and fire, anything that comes from nature. And then artificial light is light coming from light bulbs, so electricity, incandescent bulbs, halogen, fluorescent, LED. I am going to teach you the difference between these different types of light and the different effect they have. So let's go through those. Well, I will in a minute. So, okay, natural light. The direction of light impacts color. North or east create a cool bluish cast, where south or west create a warm orange tones. So it will definitely affect the color of your design and your pieces and your space based on where the light's coming from. The use of natural light does improve health and sense of well-being. Keep that in mind. It is good for you to have the sun, to get natural light, to be outdoors, to allow that into your home. If you live in a very, very dark, dingy place with no windows, and if you're like Morgan and want the entire thing to be cement, you might need a little bit of sunlight coming in. Okay? Love you, Morgan. Okay. Here are your different types of artificial lights. You have your incandescent, your fluorescent, your halogen, and your LED. These are actually important to know because this will help you in the future when you're picking out your light bulbs and what kind of look you want. So incandescent, they give off a yellow glow, and they definitely use more energy than other lighting types. So incandescent, they're probably my least favorite type of light bulb, just because they use more energy, and I don't like the yellow tone it gives to spaces. So it's not my favorite, but because it does give a yellow glow, which a lot of people don't really like, and it does use more energy, it's cheaper. So there's a little fact for you. Then you've got fluorescent. This gives a blue glow, and it's diffused, and it shadows less light. I don't really like fluorescent either. I don't like the blue. I don't like colored glows coming from my lights, honestly. I like halogen and I like LED, because halogen is an expensive light, but it does last long, and it has a bright white light. It's most like sunlight, and the bulbs do get very, very hot, FYI. And then you have your LED. This is a very expensive light bulb, but it can last up to 25 years. So there's a pro for you. You spend a lot of money up front getting LED light bulbs, but it is more cost efficient over time because it uses less energy, meaning it lasts longer, and it is more cost effective. It also has no heat. So I like LED and halogen. Those are my two favorites. Can you stop? Can you not? Winnie? Don't. Okay. I hope that didn't scare you, Maya. Okay. Our use of artificial light. You have your general use, which means it provides enough light so you can see everything in the room. Then you have your task use, which means it is a focus light on the area where it is most needed, used for close-up activities. An example that I usually think about when I think about task lighting is if you ever use a sewing machine and you turn your sewing machine on, there's a little light bulb right above the needle, and so it lights up your fabric and your needle, and you can see it. That would be an example of task lighting. Also, if you use a reading light, that could be an example of task lighting. I'm sure there are hundreds more examples, but you know, you guys get the drift. And then you have your accent or decorative lighting, and that is, it provides a concentrated beam of light that focuses on a decorative object or area. Okay, let's go into the most exciting part of light, and it's lighting fixtures, because I love to look at these, and it was a lot of fun for me when I picked my lighting out in my apartment when I was building it. So, okay. I wanted to choose a little bit more different type of light fixtures because I wanted to show you guys the different options you have. You don't just have the one standard light fixture that everyone has in their houses. You can go a little bit out there and you can choose a little bit more daring designs. However, always keep in mind that the more original and the more daring you go, the more expensive it is. So, a ceiling light is a light mounted onto the ceiling, including surface mounted and semi-surface mounted. That means that a ceiling light that's 100% attached to the ceiling is a ceiling light, but also a pendant which hangs and a chandelier that hangs from the ceiling. Those are ceiling lights as well. They're just semi-surface mounted instead of surface mounted. Hope that makes sense. So there's the ceiling light. Here's some more ceiling lights for you. Some cool designs that you may enjoy or not enjoy depending on your own style. The picture in the top left would be an example of a semi-surface mounted, whereas the bottom left would be a surface mount. And then I believe the other two, like the dandelion looking light, that would be semi-surface, and then the pipe lighting would be semi-surface as well. Okay, these are one of my favorite types of lights. Basically, anything that I really like is really expensive. I have very expensive taste. It makes me really sad. But I really like cove lighting. I think it's very pretty. I think it's very classy. It's very subtle. And it's a light placed just below the ceiling with a board or a deflector beneath it. So you kind of see the light coming out of the edges. You don't see the light coming out at full force. So as you can see with the light coming around the walls and the bed and the ceiling, those are cove lights. Here's an example of more cove lighting. It's going to be the cove lighting in the first picture is going to be above that chandelier. Same thing in the living room. It's above that. It's the very, very top, that light that's shining through. And then on the bottom right picture, it's going to be the light coming out from behind the shower. It's going to be your cove lighting. Okay. Then we have our portable lights. These are lights that can be moved. Oh, sorry, that's a typo. It can be moved, such as lamps or clip-on lights. This example is a really cool night light for kids. They, like if they have to get up and go to the bathroom, they just kind of grab one of the balls and they walk and they leave and they go to the bathroom. Or if they're going to get something at night or whatever, that's a cool thing. Those lights would have to be LED just because you can't just grab a light bulb and just walk with it. You will burn your hand. But since LED doesn't emit heat, that would have to be, you would have to have LED lights for that type of portable light. Some more examples. The first one, the picture is going to, that's a portable light that is controlled by your phone and you can change the different colors. And the next two are different portable lights as well. Okay, then we have recessed lighting. These are, it also can be called can lights. I always call them recessed lighting, but I did learn this when I was building my place, that a lot of builders call them can lights. I learned that because they were like, how many can lights do you want? I said, what are you talking about? And they're like, can lights, you know, the lights in the ceiling. And I said, recessed lighting? And they were like, oh yeah, but can light's another word. And I said, oh, okay. So these are also expensive. They're about, I believe they were $90 a light. And my builder had put in, I think, like 9 lights into the cost of the house. And then any more recessed lighting that I wanted would be extra. So I had to like go through and really think about where I wanted the recessed lighting and where I wanted to really use them, because I didn't want to be charged $90 each light extra. So those are more expensive, and you can put these on your interior and your exterior. You may see houses that have these on their porch or above their garage as an example. But these are light fixtures hidden in the ceiling, such as can lights or eyeball lights. I've never heard them called eyeball lights, by the way. The examples, they're very often used in kitchens and bathrooms, but you can use them really anywhere. I do see them a lot in kitchens, though, and showers. Okay, and then we have strip lighting. This is a series of bulbs mounted together in a line. A very good example of strip lighting that you use seasonally would be an example of Christmas lights. That's an example of strip lighting because it's a series of bulbs mounted together in a line. But you can also put these in your home interior. That can be used year-round. It's not decoration. A lot of the times they can be used beneath cabinets to kind of light the way. So if you are like walking out with the lights off or whatever, like maybe in the middle of the night, you don't like stub your toe on stuff. I don't know. That's kind of my thought process behind putting them underneath cabinets, which I see them a lot under. There's an example of it being used in the bedroom, in a bedroom that it's a little too techno for me, but I just want to show you that you can do different colors of them as well. And then I do like them under stairs. I think they're kind of cool. So that's an example of them being used underneath the stairs. Maybe if you trip a lot, it could help you so you don't trip so much. I don't know. Okay, and then you have track lighting. This is lighting mounted on a metal strip that allows fixtures to be placed anywhere along the strip. This is a very industrial type look. If you have a much more industrial type modern sense of style, you may be more drawn to these lights. Here's some examples of those being used. Okay, and then we have our final one. These are called wall lights, and these are walls mounted on the wall, such as sconces. These do get called sconces pretty often in the design world, so if you ever do hear the word sconce, they're talking about a light on the wall. Okay, a sconce was it was a candle holder or a holder of another light source that is attached to the wall with ornamental bracket. It was back in the days before electricity, And if you ever watch those like period movies where it shows people without electricity, they may have like candles on the wall or things like that, and they go and they lift the bracket up off the wall and they walk with that candle. That's an example of a sconce. And so wall lights now are also called sconces because they remind people of that, of a candle holder. Here's some examples of these being used. You're going to see wall lights a lot in bathrooms above mirrors. And then also I wanted to show you this really cool Iron Man light that I thought was awesome, where the light comes out of his eyes and his hand, and that would be an example of a wall light as well, because it's on the wall. Okay, and we're not doing smash books, so we're done there. We have officially finished Unit 4. Congratulations. Go ahead and make sure after you finish this video. Guys, stop! My stupid dogs, they just don't stop. Oh. Okay, anyways. Now, once you guys have finished this lesson, go through and take the quiz, and you guys will be done for the week. I miss you guys so much. Bye.